I really, really dislike superficial thinking, superficiality, shallow um, approaches towards things. I am far from being a shallow person. I try my best not to be shallow because I can't stand that mentality. Um, Something I realized from the Bosnian genocide and war and having friends that were raped is it's not easy to categorize people. Like for example, um, how can I put this nicely? Can you say that a nun has better morals than a prostitute? Do you know the life story of the prostitute? Do you get what I'm saying? Um, there are layers to a person. You don't know the reasoning behind why they do what they do. You don't know their moral compass. You don't know their self esteem. You don't know the way they've been treated. You don't know any of that. And why I really resent that way of thinking is, well, you can apply that to problem solving and creativity. It's a very linear approach. If you look at a problem, like for example, I'm thinking of ways to help save people. I'm working on patents to save people from sharks and wolves. And I just came up with the idea while watching a movie, and I was like, hey, I should patent and to find a way to help people, because running away and screaming to the top of your lungs isn't really useful. Okay, no offense. And I've noticed, like, people watch the news, they watch TV, and they're like, oh my god, that's so terrible. I get that it's terrible, but, like, what the hell are you doing to solve the problem? Are you drawing out maps? Are you consulting architects or engineers or anybody? Because you're not helping people that are, like dead or dying or suffering because of an attack, right? So that I would say that is very similar to the approach where people are categorized very easily. I don't look at things in that way. People are more complicated than that, you know and yeah, and you don't know their story. You don't know what they're running away from. You don't know what happened to them. You don't know jack shit about them besides social conditioning, you know? Another thing is like I'm drawing out different ideas to help save people from concentration camps. Again, I don't know where I get my ideas from. I just do. Like, I'll get an idea out of nowhere, and I'll be like, hey, somebody should probably solve that. And you know for example, Omarska camp in Bosnia and Herzegovina, where many Bosnians were killed during the course of the Bosnian War, or Jews getting killed in Auschwitz during World War II, and getting thrown into ovens. I mean, can you imagine the hatred of, like, throwing somebody into a goddamn oven? An oven. I really want to emphasize that. Like, holy shit, man. But anyways, have in terms of helping people escape from a camp, I don't think we've looked at every option. Besides, for example, how can grass be utilized? Have we looked at all the possible methods to preserve grass, to use grass, to make grass, and so on? Because there's plenty of grass around a camp. Another thing is rocks. asphalt, fences, wood, clothing, pots and pans. I could go on. But the point is, we don't really think about things in terms of like solving it. It's just like, oh my god, that's so terrible. Like, I agree that it's terrible, but I don't like the attitude of quickly putting people into categories, putting situations into categories, and just turning your back away from it. I'm very layered in terms of my thinking. I see that there's more to a situation than what meets the eye. Do you get what I mean?